Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Conversations at the Table. Thank you so much for joining me today, taking the time to listen to what we have to offer you today. This episode is again sponsored by KMA Clothing Company, the little piece of my heart that I've brought for the world to kind of take part in. Anyways, we have kmaclothingcompany.com, a website set up by my friend Brad at Gonzo Okanagan. And so thank you to Brad for putting that together for us. You can read all about our story and it explains what's going on back here a little bit better for you. So thank you to Brad for putting that together for us. So today's guest is someone I haven't known for very long. I think a couple of years ago we met. She's a young woman who is, I met at the gym that I belong to. And she's got this little bit of she's very attractive person. Like as soon as I go in there, I always wanted to go and talk to Lindsay. And so I am really grateful that she has agreed to join us because she has some really great things going on in her life right now that I want to share with all of my friends. So Lindsay, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you for asking me to talk to you. It's so nice.
It's great. It's really great to see you. You look fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I don't feel fantastic every day, but
I was just thinking, seeing you sitting there right now, you'd never know that you're very pregnant with twins.
Yeah. I'm 28 weeks with my twin boys right now. So
wow, that's so exciting. That is something that I want to touch on. That's part of your story that's intriguing to me. And I was thinking this morning as I was kind of running through some thoughts, pregnancy and what women go through, it's like our own little book, and it's so important. And I was just saying, I had 3 babies of my own, and each story is very, very different from the other. And I'm really glad you're here to share your story with us. Firstly, let's talk first about your fitness journey, because that's also something that's very huge that you've transformed. Can you share with us a little bit where you started and where you are kind of transformed into with the fitness journey?
Yeah, actually my fitness journey is kind of intertwined with my pregnancy journey as well. But it started when we moved after the birth of my daughter 12 years ago. I kind of realized that, oh, crud, now I actually have to exercise to be in shape. I was 20 when I gave birth to her. So in those days, you don't really think about exercise to stay in shape. But so I started thinking and being more conscious about it. And then my husband and I moved to Vernon about 5 years ago. And I had heard about the 30-minute HIIT gym that I belonged to at this point. And I decided I was just going to give it a go, give it a try. That first moment I threw that first punch in there was when I really fell in love with exercise.
It really is that quick to fall in love with that gym, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Once you get past the skipping.
Yeah.
And you take your first punch. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I interrupted you, but that's how quickly you become addicted. Yeah.
Yeah. Fell in love with it, joined right away, became a trainer by the end of that summer. I got married at the end of that summer. And then it was just kind of just keeping things stable at that point with exercise. And then when my husband and I started having trouble conceiving, I thought, okay, well, maybe I need to just be in better shape. Maybe it's something to do with not being healthy enough. The doctors kept recommending exercise. So I thought, well, to hell with it. Let's just see what my body can do. So in addition to keeping up with the kickboxing, I decided to try weight training. And actually one of the trainers I work with at 30-minute HIIT, she does weight training. So I thought, well, if she can do it, I can do it. It exposed me to a whole different side of exercise that I didn't even know existed for women. Because when you think of weightlifting, you think of big men.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with that as well. And I just thought, I want to see what my body can do. So over the course of a year, I transformed my physical self. I'm sure mentally and emotionally, that kind of has taken a bit more time, but physically, I transformed myself within about a year. I lost about 20, 30 pounds, put on a lot of really great muscle. And I just felt really better about the person I was presenting. I felt like she kind of matched the Lindsay on the inside at that point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I was approached by the owner of that gym, and he asked me, have you ever thought about being a personal trainer? And I said, well, no. But, exercise had been such an important part of my life. I did it every day, 1 to 2 hours a day, whether I was kickboxing or weight training. I was in the gym 6 days a week or so. So I decided, yeah, let's just go for it. I found a new passion. So I took my personal training certification in October last year and got pregnant shortly afterwards. So I haven't really been able to use it yet, but that's kind of how my exercise journey kind of has gone.
Right.
So it took about 5 years to fall in love with exercise. And I totally understand how some people, they hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fun thing to do, but once it's a part of your daily lifestyle, you can't live without it.
Right. I find that when we look at exercise as so much more than working out, like when I am regularly doing boxing or working out or whatever, my brain is so much better. And
Yes.
that results it starts here and works its way through. I feel strong. I was shocked at how quickly I felt stronger boxing.
Yeah, you really do. And as my fertility journey kind of carried on, exercise became kind of like my medication for me.
Mm-hmm.
If I wasn't able to just take that time to turn my brain off, it would just all come crashing down on me, and it was just too much to deal with. So exercise not only became a way just to keep myself healthy, but it became a way to keep myself sane.
Right. And what I like too, when I was actually going to the gym, to 30-minute hit specific, and this is not a promotional video for 30-minute hit, but I will say what I remember telling other women about it was that, like, my brain goes like this all day. And when you're there at 30-minute hit and you've kind of learned your cycle and what needs to be done, you are thinking about nothing else but that moment. And I never, ever, under any other circumstance, have I ever been able to just focus on one thing at a time. But number one, you have to. Yeah. And it was so the people that work there, you being one of them, are so encouraging and loving and just really made me feel good to walk in there. I'm intimidated by the gym. And I think part of why I was intimidated by traditional gym is I didn't really know how they worked.
Yeah.
And 30-minute hit made it really easy. Like in 2 weeks, I knew what I was kind of doing. You're always learning more and changing things, but I knew enough that I could go in there comfortably and do a workout and come out and go, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really is. It's like your own little mini meditation time.
Mm-hmm.
You're in there. I have a very busy brain as well, and I've always had a hard time shutting it off. And when it comes to exercise, you get in, I like to call it my resting gym face.
Right.
And taking it very seriously, doing what I need to do. And you feel so good when you're done.
Yeah.
Turn the world off.
It's amazing. Yeah. And I'm gonna announce to the world that I haven't been doing the 30-minute hit workouts. I've been walking, but Avery has been. She has been, and now has a whole new program as well that she's brought into and whoever, Christy or 30-minute hit as a company, bringing their gym to the computer was brilliant.
Oh, it's been amazing. I haven't been able to do it myself very much. Mm-hmm. My blood pressure is a little wonky with two of them in here, but I wish I could, but because I get to live vicariously through the other women doing it though, I think it's made them realize too, like the same way you were saying earlier, that exercising at home or outside of a gym, it's very possible. Right. It's just a matter of having the inspiration to do it. Right. And for some women, this online thing is what it takes. So
absolutely. And I know I didn't mean for this to be about a 30-minute
I know, right?
advertisement, but anyways, what I like about it is I can go. I'm a 49-year-old woman who's I'm active. Let's say that. And my 18-year-old daughter, who is super fit, and my 77-year-old mother, that's good. Hello. My 77-year-old mother also gets a good workout there. And Mom has a beam in the middle of her house, in the middle of the living room, that she has attached a pillow around. And it is so great. It's so great. I should actually have my dad take a picture and send it to Christy because it's amazing. And my mom works out every day.
Yeah.
And it's been a huge part in her fitness journey. My parents are exceptionally active, and being, exercising 5-6 times a week has just changed my mother's life.
Oh my gosh. Just the woman we met versus the woman she is now. Yeah. If every woman, it's the same thing. They walk in, it's like night and day, just 6 months later.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyways, I also want to talk to you about your fertility. Do we call them issues, Lindsay? For your fertility
What an
struggles.
issue. Yeah.
Right. So you do have, we just got to see your older daughter.
Yes, that's Emily.
And you say you had her when you were 20.
Yeah.
So was there issues getting pregnant the first time?
No, I was 19 when I got pregnant with her, almost 20. So, at that age, you're not thinking of having children most of the time. Wasn't thinking of having kids, but there she came along.
Yeah.
Take your birth control, women. Just so you know. But anyway, she came, and the moment I found out I was having her, I was like, okay, well, made my bed, I'm going to lie in it. And she's been the greatest thing that's ever happened. Yeah. But I had no troubles at all. She just kind of showed up. But then I had an IUD put in after she was born, and I had it for the full 5 years. It expired right around the time my husband and I were like, hey, let's try to have a child of our own. My daughter's biological dad is not my husband.
Right.
So he and I were ready for our own kids. So did that whole thing. As most people normally do when you remove an IUD, we got pregnant pretty quick afterwards, but we lost that one. And I was fully expecting that because body is just trying to rearrange things again. Right. So thought nothing of that one. We had a couple more miscarriages. Didn't think too much about it still, but after the third or the fourth one was when we decided, okay, maybe there's something that we should look into. Maybe something happened with the IUD. So we went in to, we were referred to the fertility clinic in Kelowna, and the physician there, just this amazing, wise man, referred me for genetic blood testing first. And my test came back. I had had 3 or 4 miscarriages at that point. And it showed that I have a genetic condition, not hereditary. It's just random happenstance. And it's called mosaic Turner syndrome.
Okay.
So it only happens in women because it's an X chromosome problem. So most of the time, women who are diagnosed with it are full-blown Turners, it's called. And essentially every second X chromosome is either missing or it looks like a Y. So they've got fertility problems among with a bunch of other physical issues. But for me, I was deemed mosaic Turners because only about 17% or so of the cells that they could see were either missing that X chromosome or had a damaged chromosome.
Okay.
And in mosaicism, it's different in every different kind of cell in your body. So my blood cells showed that percentage of mosaicism, but my hair could be different, my skin, my eyes, and my eggs as well.
Oh.
And since your eggs only have 1 chromosome in them, if it's a defective chromosome, it's no good.
Right.
So the thought at that time was, okay, so Emily came along when I was really young. I probably still had a lot of really good quality X chromosome eggs going. So that's how she managed to get here into this world. So we're thinking that maybe I'm just tossing out dud eggs more than not. So that kind of was a huge shock. I never even heard of Turner mosaic syndrome.
Nope, that's first time for me.
Yeah, and the geneticists were even hesitant to diagnose me as being a mosaic because the percentage was so low. And the cutoff, I was maybe 2% above their cutoff for being a mosaic. And I don't have the physical characteristics of it, because most women with mosaicism or even full-blown Turners have physical characteristics. They have really wide necks, broad chests, like they're swollen in their hands and their feet when they're first born, just things like that. There's learning disabilities with numbers, and I don't have any of those issues. So I look like your normal average woman.
Right.
So that kind of started us down a path of, all right, well, where do we go with this now? We know that I can have children. I can carry a child to full term. We know that we can get pregnant because I keep losing them. So we just started from the very beginning, and the way they advised us to go was start with IUI, or intrauterine insemination. So we tried that twice and that didn't work. We were going to try it a third time, but it's not a cheap experience to do that. So we decided just to take a break for a little while from it. It was beginning to affect me even more because I would actually conceive in between sometimes and I would lose them. All in all, I think we've had about 8 miscarriages we counted. I stopped counting. He recounted more for me, but I stopped counting. So then eventually after 3 or 4 years, we decided, okay, well, maybe it's time we consider the IVF option. And the doctors had always thought that IVF would probably be a 100% success for me, just because I can conceive and I can carry.
Right.
It's just that something genetically is wrong with the egg perhaps, or just the embryo itself. So if we were to do IVF, they could test those embryos genetically before implanting them. And then we'd know for sure if it's got a better chance than just random embryos going through. So we did that. And that was quite, IVF is a journey. It's, I don't know if you've ever known anyone who's done it but it's just, it's insane. The things that a woman or just a couple will put their bodies through. So we did that in August last year, we did our egg retrieval, and we actually had 20 eggs retrieved. So my body created a lot of good eggs to suck out. I think 16 of them were mature. And of those 16, we had 12 fertilized. And then of those 12, they genetically tested every single one of them. We had 7 good quality embryos. So we implanted the highest quality, the grade A embryo, just one of them, in mid-November of last year. And then on December 6th, I remember the day, it had split into 2, and we were expecting identical twins. So so now here we are. We're due July 22nd.
That's so exciting. What I'm thinking while you're talking is that you had mentioned the physical stress on that. I can't imagine the emotional stress. I'm actually a little verklempt right now, because I think about how many women who have to go through this.
Yeah. And it's just,
Lindsay, you the emotional aspect of this, it could make or break a relationship.
It can. And just it'll always be a part of me. What we had to do. It was very hard.
Yeah. So these 2 little people inside of you are just, oh my good Lord.
I know. And the really cool part is that, anytime a baby is expected, they're always wanted, they're always loved, everyone's always anticipating it. But everyone who's walked with me on this journey is just as excited as we are,
absolutely.
My entire 30-Minute Hip family, all the members, all the trainers there, my whole extended family, all my friends, the people at the other gym I'm with. It's just, they've got these 2, we're having 2 boys, and they're going to be the most loved and adored and appreciated little things ever.
Yeah, and they have an older sister who's going to spoil the crap out of them.
Spoil them rotten.
Yeah. And I have a 27-year-old daughter, and then 10 years later had my Avery. And I always said every woman should have a 10-year-old child when they have a baby. There's so much help. It makes such a difference, especially with you having 2. That's crazy. Yeah.
And Emily's a very maternal, loving, very emotionally intelligent little girl. So she's very excited, very much looking forward to being a big sister finally. She's been bugging me since she was 4.
Ever, yeah.
Sorry it took so long. Now you get 2.
That's right. That's your fault. There's 2. Yeah. You wanted it so badly.
Yeah, we like to joke that they had a buy one, get one free.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, I like that. That's great. I've just got so much going on right now, Lindsay. Your story is unique to you, but it's also very universal.
Yeah.
I was shocked at how many women go through something like this. I myself suffered a miscarriage. I've never had a problem getting pregnant. I've only had one miscarriage that I'm aware of, because they do say a lot of women have them and don't even know that they've had them because they were so early in the pregnancy. When I had my miscarriage, I knew, because it was my second pregnancy, I knew something wasn't correct. Yeah. I just knew it into my soul, and I never allowed myself to attach. So when I had my miscarriage, and to this day, it was just like, yeah, I've had one. And I know that there's a lot of women who have had multiple miscarriages, and it's an emotional journey. And that is just something that my heart breaks for other women. I think it's a huge huge responsibility for us to talk about things like this, because it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
Women's health is so quiet. So another thing that I was thinking while you were talking was, how hard was it for you to uncover all these things? When you say that you have, now I've already forgotten what you said. What
Mosaic Turners?
Yes. How
Yeah.
hard was it for you to kind of uncover that information and learn exactly what was going on with your body?
Yeah, there's actually not a lot of information about, like, there's a lot of information about full turners, but there's not a lot of information about mosaicism. And the only reason that women even find out that they have the genetic condition I have is after they've had multiple miscarriages, and only if a doctor decides to do a full panel of genetic testing. I may not have known had my doctor not been as thorough as he was, so I'm very grateful for him. But once I found out, I was in quite a bit of shock. I did a bit of Googling, and most babies, because they're always female, and most babies that have this genetic condition are spontaneously aborted before they're born anyway, because the mother's body or something recognizes that there's something wrong. It's not a feasible fetus, and they don't make it anyway. So the fact that my mosaicism is so low and allow me to be here is something that, like, oh wow,
So you yourself are a miracle, really. Yeah. Right? I mean, we're all miracles, and I don't get me wrong when I say that, but
oh man,
the fact that you get to be
taught me that pregnancy, conception, childbirth, the fact that there are so many humans in this world is insane, because getting pregnant and staying pregnant is truly a miracle. Right. The number of things that can go wrong. But I think that my mom was the one who had the hardest time with it, because she felt like it was her fault. So that was a tough thing to kind of, for her to come to terms with, is what maybe did I do wrong? But there's nothing, it was just a luck of the draw. Some genetic switch wasn't flipped on for me, and that's just how it is. But it's kind of neat now knowing, what it makes me unique. However, it also makes doctors really afraid to treat me, because another thing with mosaicism is that it can affect your heart. So some women, one of the big problems they're afraid of is an aortic dissection, when the inner wall of the aorta separates from the outer wall. And if that happens, it's a very, very quick, probably painful death that would happen. So I've had to have 2 ultrasounds on my heart just to make sure that everything's okay. But I did like to joke to the doctors, like, if you could only see the things that I put my heart through when I'm healthy, the exercise I do, I think we're okay. But so that's just been the hardest thing, is all the medical tests I've now had to do, and learning about the different things that, could technically happen to me one day. But other than that, I don't define myself as having it. It's just, if someone asks me, ask me my story about all the losses had, well, it's because I have mosaicism, and then we can get into it from there. But it's been a hard, long 5 years of not letting all those losses kind of define who I am. Because with each one, you kind of lose a little bit of yourself with it. You don't think you do, but you do.
Especially when you're in the process of, really wanting to grow your family, and this is a decision that you actually made. You sat down with your husband, you made, okay, it's time for us to grow our family. And then I can't imagine, the emotional beating that you would give yourself sometimes, because that's what we do as women when we're weak or something doesn't go wrong. What's wrong with me? What have I done? All these things. And I'm so grateful that you surrounded yourself. I'm going to get to, I don't know what you're doing to me today, Lindsay. Oh my God. You have surrounded, I think part of your success too, number one, you have an amazing husband. Who I've met a couple of times. He probably doesn't remember, but, and you, the two of you are you seem very connected, and that's number one. And you have a team who will raise you up. Like,
they won't let me fall down. If I tell them just leave me here to lay me down and die, they will not let me.
No, and and it's gonna be led by your boss for sure. She's just amazing, right? And I think when we allow ourselves as women to find other female support, and not all women get it, not all women understand. I have said before, bitches be crazy sometimes, and they can be full of hate. I have that person in my life, and I think your success with this it really comes hand in hand with having that foundation. And I'm so proud of you for allowing yourself to have those women in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I've one thing I have learned about myself through all this is that I am very type A. I like things to be a certain way. I like to control things. Which is why exercise is so great, because you can control your exercise. When we were having all these troubles, I threw myself right into that, and I probably exercised a little too much. But they actually helped me realize too, like, use the women around you. You know, they're more than willing to take on and share your burden with you. You can tell them how you're feeling. You can tell them what you're going through, and then they'll reciprocate, and then you just get that feedback loop, and everything gets stronger that way. I never had friends like that before. So I didn't really even know that that was a possibility. I felt like I had to go through all of this by myself, which if I had to go through it on my own, if I had forced myself to go through it alone, I don't know if we'd be where we are right now with these guys. So, yeah.
You had put a post up, I think it was yesterday, that you're 10 weeks to go.
10 weeks to go.
How exciting.
I'm so ready to, I mean, because my belly right now, it looks like I'm almost full term with a singleton.
Right.
So I feel I'm out of breath constantly, which I'm not used to anymore.
I could hear it a little bit. I'm sorry.
I'm always warm. I'm sweating right now. Like everything, my hands are swelling, my feet, my face is swollen more than it was before. I mean, yep. So it's been funny having to adapt to the physical changes of pregnancy, because I had actually gotten myself used to the idea that I wouldn't get pregnant.
Right.
So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to focus on my fitness. I'm going to build the muscle that I want, build the body that I think I want, and, you know, adapt and change as things go. And then when we got pregnant, having to kind of watch the defined muscle I had built, kind of, it's still there, it's just hidden. That's what everyone keeps reminding me. You just have to remember that.
And do you think, like, I love how the universe works, because you know, having one child in your body is a lot, but throwing two in there, holy smoke. So your body was really ready to carry these two. It was strong and ready. And that's amazing.
Yeah. And one of the greatest things actually that a compliment from one of my physicians that I got was, everyone kept telling me, oh, you're carrying two but for how far along you are, you look so small. Well, my doctor said that's probably just due to the fact that you have given yourself and encouraging yourself this really strong core. Right. So my core muscles are so strong that they're just holding them in nice and tight. And I haven't had any back pain.
Nice. Wow.
So hopefully I can keep that up, but it's been due to the fact that I was so focused on my fitness prior to that I am doing as well as I am right now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. When I had my first child, I was also 20. Yeah. And my very best friend at the time, Leslie, she had twins just before I had mine. And it was amazing watching her go through that. Yeah. It was absolutely amazing watching her body transform and be able to grow two humans in there. And they're lovely grown women now. They're also 27. Like, well, they're turning 28 this month, actually. Oh, wow. And it's quite an accomplishment for any woman to have a child. Like, I remember after I had Avery, and I was in the mirror getting myself ready for something, and I went, oh, I did. I was so proud of myself. And she was my second. Something else I was thinking when I saw that post of you at 10 weeks, I had my youngest child. My water broke at 9 weeks early.
Oh, wow.
And so I was rushed into the hospital, to which so it broke in the morning, and I worked the whole day because I had stuff to do.
Of course.
And then I went to my doctor, and he's like, you're going to Vancouver. Yes. He wanted me to go to Vancouver. And I'm like, can we just kind of find another way to do this? I was in such denial. It was crazy. Anyways, I ended up in Kamloops because Vernon and Kelowna weren't prepared for a baby that early. Okay. And I sat there. I didn't go into labor. So I laid on a bed for a week, and I went into labor 8 weeks early, and my beautiful little boy came. He was born, 32 weeks. It was
Oh, wow.
31.6 or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was early. And it was the roughest road I've ever been on. I was grateful he was my last child because there was no more after that for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just so excited. And so I can't wait to meet your little, have you named your boys? You don't have to tell us what they are, but have you picked names?
We haven't really yet. We've got one name picked out. We know the middle names for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We're naming them after grandpas. Frederick and Charles will be the middle names.
Right.
But we don't know first names yet. We're still kind of talking about it. Boy names are hard.
They
I had a girl
are.
name all picked out, ready to go.
Yeah, they really
Yeah.
are. Well, we named ours after my dad. Anyways, also, are you worried at all about, because they're identical?
Yeah.
You gonna put some nail polish on them, or what are you gonna do?
Told to do that. And actually, I think we will. We'll paint one of their toes or something, because I mean, my mother-in-law is actually an identical twin. And
Oh wow!
yeah, and identical twins, they're not hereditary.
No.
But it's just a really cool happenstance, and they are quite identical. I mean, it's quite cool to see them together in the same room. But they do have their tiny little differences that you can
Right.
see if you get to know them.
Yeah.
Little differences in the shape of their nose or something like that, you know. But other than that, if their backs are to you, you can't tell who's who.
Wow,
Like,
that's
my husband
crazy.
used to tell me all the time that he'd mistake his aunt for his mom, and you know, and now our nieces, my sister-in-law has 2 little girls, and I'm sure they've mistaken his aunt for their grandma as well. So, but I mean, it's really cool because they're so close. So watching how close my mother-in-law and her sister are, it's so beautiful how close they are. Right. And I can't wait that these 2 are going to have that bond as well. And I mean, and it'll be great because Emily, being a full decade plus a couple years older than them, they're going to need that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. I'm looking forward to it, and we will definitely paint a toenail to
Yeah,
try to tell them apart.
I think so. So this is, okay, we're here. You're 10 weeks to go. I'm requesting that you come back when those babies are a couple months old, and we get to share the outcome of this fabulous journey that you've been on. It's been, our time is almost up. Lindsay, it's gone so fast. There's so much I want to talk to you about, that we will definitely do another episode when the babies are here. I'm so happy that you guys got pregnant and it worked. You're gonna be like, I'm teary again.
I know, it's so wonderful that I've got people like you in my life, just women that fitness has brought to me, you know. Like, I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for exercise. Yeah. And it's amazing what it can do for people, not just physically, but emotionally, socially, mentally. Yeah. And now I get to share this whole journey with you and with your mom and your daughter, and it's just, and everyone else that I've met through there. It's,
Well, I remember when you announced that you were pregnant publicly, my mom actually phoned me. And she's like, guess who's pregnant? And I'm like, okay, what? I'm like way out of having people that are pregnant in my life. Yeah. She's like, Lindsay. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, I always say, my mom has 3 daughters, and I always say the women from 30 Minute Hit are the daughters she never got to have. Yeah. She loves you guys so much. Like, you've been transformational in her life. And so you have they have a great granny there, let me tell you. She is so excited for you. Yeah. And it's wonderful. Lindsay, before we say goodbye, do you have anything that you wish to share with our viewers? One last little moment of hope or anything like that?
Yeah, there's always hope, even if you don't think there is. And let other people hope for you. Yeah, because the number of times I just gave up, I can't even count anymore. But let your friends, let your tribe, let your circle, let them just pick you up and carry you when you can't do it on your own, because they'll get you where you got to go.
That's right. Oh, that's so awesome. I'm so happy for you, honey. And I can't wait to see you again soon. Hopefully back at the gym.
Yes, I hope for June.
Yeah, me too. I hope so too. Anyways, thank you so much for being here, sharing a very tiny bit of your story. There's so much more to tell. And I just hope that it opens up conversation with other women and their friends, and that there's support and love out there for everybody. So thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Take care, hon.
Bye.